Hello people, I'm here today with book review. The Last Wild by UK author Piers Torday is a children's novel targeted at ages 9 and up. This book was published in March 2013. I was sent this book to review by the Book Depository affiliate program. That being said, it'll still be a very honest review. The Last Wild tells the story of 12-year-old Kester James. He lives in a future world where a mysterious red-eye virus has killed all of the animals, aside from varmint like roaches, rats, and pigeons. Kester has been a prisoner of Spectrum Hall for the past 6 years. Spectrum Hall is a school and home for troubled children. After his mother's death 6 years prior, Kester lost the ability to speak. The novel begins when Kester discovers a talking cockroach in the schoolyard. Much to his surprise, he can communicate with the little guy. The cockroach tells Kester that he must leave because he is the only one that can save them. The cockroach, accompanied by a flock of pigeons, help Kester escape and take him to a beautiful deserted forest referred to as the Wild. There, Kester discovers the precious few survivors of the red-eye virus. Unfortunately, the virus is making its way to the Wild, and the inhabitants of the Wild need Kester's help to find the cure. And that is basically where the story takes off. First, I'd like to talk about the characters in The Last Wild. First, we have Kester James, a 12-year-old boy who is mute and discovers the ability to talk to animals. Overall, Kester was a consistently good-hearted kid. That being said, I don't think that there was a notable amount of character growth, but he did step up when the need arose. Overall, I liked but did not adore Kester as the protagonist, but he got the job done. Next, we have his sidekick, the cockroach, referred to as the General. I feel like he was a great way to introduce us to the world of the Wild. He was both funny and determined. Next, we have the flock of pigeons, who are usually just described as a group, with the exception of the white pigeon, who is basically there to say everything opposite of what the flock of pigeons says. I feel like the white pigeon was kind of a device for humor, and also felt like a character that we might find in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Then we have the stag, who is depicted on the cover of the book. He is the fearless leader of the Wild. He also leads the trek to the city and becomes kind of a father figure for Kester, often the one being the voice of reason and wisdom in the group. Next, we have the Wolf Cub, who leaves the Wild against the wishes of his wolf pack. He is kind of an obnoxious little pup at the beginning, always proclaiming that he is the best at whatever it is that they're doing, but throughout the story, he becomes quite endearing. On his trek, Kester meets Polly, a feisty, tough little girl with her cat, who's waiting for her parents to return on a trip that they took weeks ago to find food. She ends up accompanying Kester on the journey and finds creative ways to help communicate with Kester. Overall, she was quite endearing as well. Kester, Polly, and the animals are faced with some troublesome characters along the way, like the Cullers, who are people who are out to kill the remaining animals, assumingly to stop the spread of the disease so that it will not infect humans. Then we have the Outsiders, who are a group of people who live outside of the city who are trying to survive. The last character we know mostly through Kester, and that is his father. His father was a veterinarian and scientist before and during the outbreak of the red-eye virus. He may have the ability and resources to help find the cure. Next, I'd like to talk about the things that I liked in this novel. I really enjoyed the characters. Although few of the characters experienced a notable amount of growth, for the most part they were relatable and likable characters, especially for the demographic age group. I liked the idea of a virus that directly affected animals. It was kind of a breath of fresh air, considering most novels that I've experienced in the apocalyptic dystopian genre have viruses that directly affect humans. I think it showed the importance of taking care of nature because how it directly affects us and the animals. I really enjoyed the setting in this novel. I enjoyed seeing the wilderness from the perspective of the young people and the animals that inhabit it. The author did a good job of giving just enough description to create nice imagery. I also enjoyed some of the messages that I took away from this novel, including the importance of community and how everyone has something that makes them special and important in a community. A couple of things I didn't like about this book was I felt like this book gave the reader too much information right off of the bat, especially for a children's novel. Basically, you're thrown right into this world and not really given much time to acclimate before all of the juicy action begins. Also, I feel like the author tried to deal with too many issues at one time that several of them did not get fully developed and seen to the end. Overall, I liked this book, but I didn't love it. I feel like it did that tragic thing that some children's literature can do. For me, it set a definite age restriction. I can't imagine this book's working super well outside of the age demographic of about 7 to 12. I do think that this book is an excellent introduction to the apocalyptic / dystopian genre for a young reader because it has a lot of the good stuff that makes those books so successful. I would recommend this book for anybody who enjoys talking animals, silly, vaguely British humor, and action-adventure. Well, that was my review of The Last Wild by Piers Torday. I hope it was helpful, and I will leave a link in the description of where you can find this book. Let me know in the comments if you thought this book sounded interesting and if you're planning on picking it up. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.